Hey everyone, how's it going? Dr. Luke Peterson here, knee replacement therapist. For this video of episode 3 of the Need to Know show, we're going to talk about telehealth physical therapy and how to get the most out of your telehealth physical therapy sessions. So, with the coronavirus and everything being closed down to essential businesses, social distancing, everything going on with that regard, there has been an influx of telehealth services. So services of physical therapy and other healthcare and medicine type services being provided through telehealth. And basically all this means is having your services either virtually through a video conferencing, so through your iPhone, your smart device, through your laptop, through your computer, or even just doing it through the telephone, talking on the telephone with your doctor or your physical therapist. This can all be considered telehealth services, telehealth physical therapy. So let's talk about some of the things to keep in mind and some top tips for how to really get the most out of your telehealth physical therapy treatments. As you know, there are a couple of drawbacks from the telehealth services compared to in-person physical therapy. So of course you aren't getting that hands-on assessment and treatment that you typically could get at a physical therapy clinic, but you can really get a lot of the same benefits from doing virtual telehealth services. So the big thing is you're going to get a lot of education, a lot of instructions, a lot of verbal and video demonstration of exercises, of things to do, of effective ways to manage your knee replacement or your knee pain or whatever it may be that you're dealing with. And the other thing is you're going to get a lot of instructions, a lot of cueing, a lot of, how to do this thing, how to improve an exercise, whatever it may be. So here are some top tips to really get the most out of it. So the first thing is you really want to review all the instructions that your physical therapist provides you. So with telehealth, everything you're doing virtually, you're doing online through email or over the phone. So certain things like signing off on consent forms, making payment online, this stuff takes a little bit extra steps. You can't all do it right at that front desk like you would at a PT clinic. So what that does is you have to really read through all of the information, the emails that your physical therapist or health provider gives you to make sure that you're not missing any of those things that may delay your ability to get services. So things like signing off on consent forms, typically you can do this online through a PDF. Things like making payments online, signing waivers, the instructions for setting up whatever software your physical therapist is using, so instructions of what that software is, any links you might need to get to that software, and things of that nature is all going to be in the instructions, or should be in the instructions, that your physical therapist provides you, either through email or possibly over the phone or some means of that nature. So it's really important to listen to and read through all of that information and all those instructions so you don't delay your services or get maybe suboptimal telehealth services. The next thing is you really want to be aware of your setup for your technology. So you typically, most of the time, it's either through a smartphone or a tablet that you're streaming the video conferencing, or possibly through a desktop or laptop computer. And you really want to think about the setup of where you have these things. So if you have something like a tripod or a desk that you can set a computer on, that can be really beneficial to getting the right spot where you can put it. You want to have it somewhere where you can show yourself kind of in an open space, in an open room, where if you want to go through some different exercises or different activities, that you're able to do that and the physical therapist can watch you and give you some feedback in that in those exercises. So typically if you have something like a tripod, that's really great. If you don't have a tripod, you can use anything that you might have. If it's putting the phone up against some books or maybe a lamp, up against really anything that you might have. You can be creative. Something that you can stick it and the video faces out so that the physical therapist can critique you, can look at your exercises and give you good feedback. That's the key. So it's something you want to play around with a little bit before you have your physical therapy session, so you're not wasting valuable time trying to get the right setup. You already have it set up and you're ready to rock and roll when your session starts. Another thing to keep in mind is you're probably going to be running it through your Wi-Fi, through your internet. So if you have other things going on, if you're streaming Netflix or any type of streaming service, that's going to take up your bandwidth. It's going to affect the quality of the video that you're getting back and forth with your physical therapist. So if you have anything like that that's streaming, you want to not have that going on during your session as well. So kind of if you have other family members who might be watching shows or whatever, let them know ahead of time that you want this time to really not have any of that going on, because you want the best quality video when you're streaming and having your telehealth services. Another thing to think about is, what you're wearing, like clothing and your setup for physical therapy. You want to expect this to be like a typical physical therapy session. So you want to wear comfortable clothing, maybe have sneakers on or just be in some socks, depending if you're doing some exercises on the bed or a flat surface. But wear clothing that you're able to do physical therapy exercises and activity. The whole idea is to kind of teach you and instruct you in different exercises, different things that you can do. So you want to be ready to actually do those so you can demonstrate them and get that feedback from the physical therapist. Another thing that I found really helpful is have some way of taking notes. If that's just using your smart device, your phone, or if it's a pen and paper, either way it can be really helpful. Again, a big part of this is going to be the education component, the feedback and the discussion component with the physical therapist. So if they give you certain recommendations about how to manage what you're going through, exercises, whatever it may be, it might be really useful to write those down, make a little blurb, so that after the session is done, you're not going to forget about it. Now, a really good physical therapist is going to send you an email or follow up with you to really make sure that you remember any of the important things that they say. But for your own well-being, for your own confidence, it's good to have something where you can write little things down that might be important to remember for after the session. Another thing is, along those same lines, is don't be afraid to follow up with your physical therapist, even if it's not a scheduled time. If that might be through email, it might be through phone or text messages, whatever works best for you and the physical therapist. But really don't be afraid to follow up. With the social distancing, typically you go in for your appointment so many times per week or once every week, whatever it may be, and you're able to follow up then. And for this, it's really okay to follow up at any point. They might not get back to you right away. Your physical therapist might get back to you within 24 hours or within 48 hours or whatever it may be. But if you send that email or send that text message or leave a voicemail, that's how you're going to get the answers to your question. And I'm sure any physical therapist or health professional is going to be more than happy that you're taking good initiative and that they can help you out and help you through whatever it is that you're dealing with. And then something really important and something I find beneficial is do your best to try to schedule your next appointment during the session you're on. So at the end of your telehealth session, try to set up that next appointment, or at least as much as you can. Say, I'm really available these days or this day. What happens sometimes is, just like in-person treatments, things tend to fall to the wayside. You forget to reschedule, one day turns into 2 days, turns into a week, and then it's been a while since you've had your last appointment. So try to schedule an appointment right when you're at the end of that telehealth session. Talk with the physical therapist, say what times, what days work for you. These are a couple of days and times that work well for me for our second or our next appointment. and try to really get that scheduled so you have it down, you have it in your appointment book, and you're ready to go, and it doesn't fall to the wayside, and you can keep going with your physical therapy or whatever it is that you're going through. All right, so those are what I would say are my top tips for getting the most out of your telehealth physical therapy services. I'm sure there's some other tips and some other useful feedback. If you have any that you'd want to share with everyone, feel free to leave a comment below. If you're someone who's been doing telehealth physical therapy, I'd love to hear your feedback, pros and cons, what you think about it, and so we can find ways to improve it, both as the knee replacement therapist and as physical therapists in general. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been the Knee to Know Show, episode 3. Take care and stay safe.